We hear it all the time, right? Companies claim to be customer first. But how many of them actually are? What happens when that slogan really gets put to the test? Today, we're going to dig into what it truly takes to build customer experience, or CX, into the very DNA of an organization, from the ground up.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about a huge mistake that trips up most companies. Then, we'll get into building the right foundation, look at how leaders can really spark the change, and then how to get the entire organization on the same page. We'll wrap it all up by exploring that ultimate goal, a culture where CX is literally everyone's job.
Okay, let's dive right into the biggest hurdle, that gap between the slogan and reality. It is one thing to slap customer focused on a poster in the break room, but it's a whole other ballgame to actually live it in every single decision, every single day.
So, I want you to really think about this for a second. In your organization, does being customer first actually drive decisions when no customers are around? Or is it something that, just shows up in the marketing PowerPoints? The honest answer to that question reveals a whole lot.
This is the perfect way to look at it. You've got two sides to customer experience. There's the surface level stuff, the friendly person at the help desk, maybe a coupon after a bad experience. That stuff's important, but it's reactive. The real magic, though, is what's happening below the surface. That's foundational CX. It's when the customer's point of view is baked into every single thing the company does, from finance to product development.
So how in the world do we build that deep foundational CX? Well, we have to go way beyond the front lines. We need to start rewiring the very core of the organization itself.
This right here, this is what we're aiming for. True customer centricity isn't a department, it's a mindset. It's that point where anticipating and solving customer problems becomes the very engine that drives growth and real innovation for the entire business. So how do you actually make this happen? It has to start at the absolute top. You weave the customer into your mission, your fundamental why. Then, you integrate them into your vision, your where are we going. And finally, you align all your big strategic goals around them. That's your how. These three steps, they form the bedrock. And thinking about it this way completely reframes the conversation. See, this isn't just about customer happiness as some kind of soft metric. It's about recognizing that a deep, genuine understanding of what your customers need, well, that's the most powerful catalyst you have for real, sustainable growth and breakthrough innovation.
But look, a powerful mission statement is just words on a page if you don't have the right people championing it. And that's exactly where leadership comes in. They are the catalysts that turn these ideas into a living, breathing culture. Leaders are the culture catalysts. They don't just sign off on a budget for a CX project. They live and breathe this stuff. They're constantly talking about the customer, celebrating the wins, and this is the most important part, making their own decisions with the customer in mind. Their actions speak so much louder than any company-wide memo ever could.
Okay, so with leadership setting that clear direction, the next big step is making sure that vision trickles down into every single part of the organization. This table just brings the whole idea of alignment to life. Let's take the finance department. A typical goal is just reduce costs. Simple enough, but a CX-aligned goal, it's to invest in customer value. Wow, that is a huge shift. Or look at the product team. They go from being a feature factory, just churning out new stuff, to becoming genuine problem solvers for things customers actually need. And marketing? They stop chasing every possible lead and instead focus on attracting and keeping the right kind of customers. It's a subtle but really profound change in perspective for every single team. And this is what success really looks like. Suddenly, there are no internal-only decisions anymore. Every choice, from who you hired to how you approve budgets, gets passed through a simple filter. How does this affect the customer?
So after all this work, what does it all lead to? We get to the ultimate transformation, a state where customer experience is no longer one team's job. It's everyone's shared responsibility.
This is the end game. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer, an accountant, or in marketing. You see exactly how your work plugs into the customer's journey. And you're not just allowed to make things better for them, you're expected to.
For the customer, the benefit here is massive. Their experience becomes consistent and meaningful, not choppy and disjointed. They feel understood. The solutions they get actually solve their problems. And all of that adds up to one incredibly powerful thing: loyalty. Let's end on this question. If your organization disappeared tomorrow, what would customers truly miss? If the answer is just your product, then you might be replaceable. But if the answer is the way you solve our problems or the value you always create for us, then you've built something truly foundational. You've built a real customer-first organization.